Hey, how you doing guys, and welcome to another video. So today we've got some massive news coming out of LRM Online, and they're basically telling us that a massive character from Star Wars Rebels will be returning in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and I'm sure you can all see it right here, that's Agent Kallus. So having said that, let's get straight into the article. So these past couple of days have been jam-packed with news about the upcoming Star Wars shows. So we've had heaps of leaks about Inquisitors being in Kenobi, we've had some casting leaks about a young Leia, we've also had some Luke announcements, all of that stuff. And we've just been hearing a lot of things coming out of the Obi-Wan Kenobi set. So this obviously means they must be at least getting pretty deep into filming right now, and some things are going down on set and a lot of things are getting leaked from the set. So we are confident to share that Agent Kallus will be in the highly anticipated Obi-Wan Kenobi series, with the show taking place 10 years after the events of Revenge of the Sith, which we already knew from the announcement at the Investor Day. It would seem that Agent Kallus will be at the height of his Imperial rank. It makes sense to have the best Imperial agents hunting down Kenobi and the other rebels. So according to LRM Online, it sounds like Agent Kallus is going to be one of the main guys going after Kenobi, and he probably won't be staying on Tatooine, let's be honest. From the other leaks we've heard, he's pretty much confirmed to be leaving Tatooine, and it looks like the reason for that is going to be a young Leia getting into some trouble, and we've already had some casting rumors about that, so if you want to hear more about that, I'll definitely cover that, and I'll probably do a live stream if you guys want to see that. So Alexander Kallus, aka Agent Kallus, was introduced in the animated Star Wars Rebels show, which I'm sure most of you have probably seen. Rebels is a great show, a lot of people don't give it credit, but if you can push past the first season, it's an absolutely amazing show, especially going into season 3 and 4. So he served as an agent of the Imperial Security Bureau, but would eventually become a rebel spy in the last season of the show. So obviously we know he became a Fulcrum agent, and that's the same rank that was held by Ahsoka, she created it, and even Cassian Andor was a Fulcrum agent, which we know from Rogue One, and all of the media around that. So that's why I thought he'd be a better pick for the Andor show, but it looks like he's going to fit into the Kenobi show, and these two shows might have some better connective tissue than we originally thought. I thought Kenobi was going to be a fully standalone show, pretty much completely detached from all of the other stuff going on, like the Mando, Book of Boba Fett, the Andor show, and all of the other good stuff. It will be interesting to see Kallus as an Imperial operative, right before he goes to Lothal to stop the rebellious insurgency. So it looks like we're going to get some of Kallus' story before he goes to Lothal, and begins all of his stuff with Ezra Bridger, Kanan Jarrus, and the rebels that have been set up on Lothal. So it's possible that we could see Kallus on Onderon when he fought Saw Gerrera, which if you remember from Rebels, he did say he fought in the early days of the war on Onderon. Or possibly his involvement with the events on Lasan, which was a massive plot point in Star Wars Rebels. So we know that Agent Kallus was a major part of the wiping out of Zeb's people, and he eventually made amends for that, which you can get a good look at in Star Wars Rebels. And it was also in the epilogue, which we still don't know where that is set by the way, because Dave Filoni has refused to confirm where that sits in the timeline. Or we know that it's after Endor, because obviously Rex fought at Endor, and that's confirmed in that epilogue. So basically they say, make sure to check out this Friday their podcast where they're going to be revealing more big stories, and that looks like that's about it for that scoop. So tell me what you guys think down below about the scoop, and are you happy to see Kallus showing up in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show? Do you think he fits? And just give me your general thoughts down below. And this actually leads us on to the other leak I was talking about with the young Leia. So apparently Star Wars has already cast a young Leia for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and it looks like she's going to be the major reason that gets Obi-Wan off Tatooine. So we'll very quickly get into this, and we'll break down the details and how they all connect for the massive amount of leaks that are coming out about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. So the forthcoming Obi-Wan Kenobi series is by far, yeah, we already know that. It was announced in 2019, and we know it's going to be 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. So details have been scarce regarding the plot of the forthcoming series so far, but a new rumor suggests that the Jedi Master's journey will be driven by the involvement of some very familiar royalty. So it's been reported that Princess Leia will appear in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. That was pretty predictable. Anyone could have guessed that. But what we didn't have is that she'll be serving as the catalyst for the character's adventure. So this younger Leia will be played by Vivian Lyra Blair, known for her previous work in Bird Box and We Can Be Heroes. Leia is said to be the impetus of the series and will have a major part in the events that transpire, though the specifics still remain unknown. The vast majority of his time in solitude is spent looking after Luke, and beyond Maul's realization of his purpose in Rebels, which we saw that was one of the greatest fights in Star Wars animated history. If you haven't seen Rebels, at least go and watch that fight on YouTube, because it's one of the best fights that has ever happened in Star Wars animation. But little more has come from Obi-Wan's days as a hermit. Kenobi has a much closer connection to Luke for obvious reasons, but Leia is just as important to the future of the galaxy, and a dire threat to the princess is something big enough to prompt an action from the Jedi Master. So to get Kenobi off of Tatooine, whatever happens to Leia is going to have to be absolutely massive. What exactly Leia does to get herself into trouble and catch the eye of the Empire is going to be an interesting subject, and yes, it will be. At the point in the timeline where Kenobi takes place, the twins are only about 10 years old, and Leia is far from her early days in the rebellion. So yeah, she's going to be very young, 10 years old. I don't think she can do too much at 10. She can still definitely get into trouble, but I don't think it's going to be directly connected to anything to do with the rebellion. Perhaps it's not so much her actions, but an encounter with an Imperial that draws some suspicion about the kid's heritage. A disturbance in the Force of this magnitude should get the crazy old wizard to briefly abandon his post and take on any threats posed to both Leia and, by an outside chance, Luke. There will be battles with Inquisitors, which of course I mentioned before, possible run-ins with former allies, which is a reference to one of the actors from the set, Sung Kang. He mentioned that there were a lot of surviving Jedi and former Jedi on the set when he was there, and he's rumoured to be playing the fifth brother. So if you love Star Wars Rebels, you'll know exactly who the fifth brother is, and he's rumoured to be playing him. And the greatest threat to the twins of all, Darth Vader. And we know it's already been said many times that there will be an encounter between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. Now whether that be in person, or just through a vision, through some type of vergence in the Force, we don't really know. But there's going to be an encounter in some way or form. The Sith Lord must be prevented from learning about his children at all costs, and Obi-Wan is more than up to the challenge of fulfilling his duty. Perhaps Obi-Wan and Leia will even meet, alongside even Bail Organa. The former senator trusted his adopted daughter enough to send her in search of Kenobi's aid during the events of Rogue One, and beyond a few lines and her iconic message in A New Hope, it seemed as if Leia knew more of the Jedi Master than mere instructions for a fetch quest. And they just go on to say that how everything plays out will be interesting. They don't even have the full details, and there's going to be a lot of surprises and stuff that we simply can't predict and simply don't know. So I've got full faith in this series. I think the Kenobi show is going to be amazing. Deborah Chow's behind it, one of the best directors from The Mandalorian, so I think they're going to do a good job. And based on the stuff we've heard so far, it seems like there's going to be a lot of connections to Rebels, the Clone Wars, and probably some other Mandoverse content which we don't even know about yet. And the very last part of this story I want to share with you guys is the Inquisitor part. So Kang, who was part of the official casting announcement, Sung Kang this is, according to the leaks, he will be playing one of the Inquisitors, and pretty much all of the sources are saying pretty confidently that Kang will be playing the fifth brother, who of course appeared in Star Wars Rebels. So as others have heard and reported, there seem to be quite a few Inquisitors, including another one we've seen before, which hasn't been revealed yet. I'd have to guess it's probably the Seventh Sister, which feature a certain apprentice, so I'm sure I don't have to tell you who that is. And from the sounds of it, Kenobi is really bridging the gap between the two eras, using stuff we've seen from the animated shows to do it as well. So there was actually a massive rumour that there was going to be an Inquisitors show coming out on Disney Plus sometime next year, and I never really thought that was going to be a thing because there's not much scope for an Inquisitor show, but what makes a lot more sense is that they got their wires crossed, and it looks like the Inquisitors are going to be showing up in the Kenobi show instead of their own. I mean, 10 years after Revenge of the Sith is the absolute perfect time to have Inquisitors just roaming around the galaxy, and we know from the Darth Vader comics and the other comics that there are a lot of Jedi survivors roaming around at that time, probably more than there should be, so the Inquisitors are going to have a lot of work to do, and Kenobi's obviously going to be their biggest target. So I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see me do more of these leak breakdowns where we just go over all of the leaks, all of the news, and basically everything that dropped over the week about Star Wars and all of the upcoming shows, just let me know down below. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you made it this far, and I can't wait to see what happens with the show. So thank you so much guys for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.